Now, how is it already leaking when there's no engine in it? Come on. All right, I added power. Let's see how many miles. 240, almost 44,000. It's not too bad. Black interior, it's actually in pretty good shape. Red paint in okay shape. I say okay because clear coat peel, clear coat peel, clear coat peel. But, all right, poor shape. But then you have like this fender's nice. This door's pretty nice. Little clear coat. Roof's nice. This is nice. And then bumper's peeling. Not bad, not bad. 2 5-quart things of oil. Get those full. Ooh, a little bit out of that one. Not bad. All right, I'll let you see under the hood. Oh, yeah, this is what the car needs. Here's the Civic that I got. My friend gave me it for free. It's been sitting with a blown up engine. That's the old engine right there. He already pulled it and haven't found the smoking gun on what's wrong with it yet, but I'll tear it down later on. I've been focusing on this engine. Well, I just pulled everything out of the truck. My plan of attack is to do the timing belt because I have the kit right there. I'm not gonna do the head gasket. I'm gonna just leave it. If I have to do it, I'll do it in the car. But I'll do timing belt, and then I'm gonna pull the transmission out and do the rear main seal because I found a rear main seal right there. And then the engine will basically be ready to be put in. Just have to put like the power steering pump on, got to transfer it over from here. Got to transfer over this harmonic balancer because it has the belt drive for the power steering. What else? AC compressor. Is this one even good? Oh yeah, that's pumping. Transfer the AC compressor over. Alternator. I'll leave that OEM alternator on it. I could replace it in the car if need be. And yeah, that's basically all the stuff I have to transfer over. This one is a VTEC engine, as you can see by the VTEC solenoid. This one is not a VTEC engine, and this is the original one in the car. So probably have to get an ECU to get VTEC working. Maybe I can get the immobilizer like turned off on the ECU. We'll see. Well, this is a good sign. Nothing in the cooling system that looks too bad. Looks nice and clean. Timing belt is in. The old one wasn't even bad. I should have just left it. It's like replaced recently. Got all the accessories on. I just need to go get pulley or belts. So I need the AC and alternator belt, which shares the same belt. And then I need the power steering belt, which rides right here. So I need to go get those two, and then it will essentially be ready to be thrown in. I'm not gonna open up the transmission. I'm just gonna hope the rear main's not leaking. I know I have one right there, but it shouldn't be leaking. And if it is, I'll do it in the car and it'll be my fault. Now if I have to waste hours pulling the transmission with it in the car, I can just blame myself. Belts are on, tensioned properly. Now I just gotta pick it up and place it in the car. Easy as that. Got it ready to go in. I moved everything out of the way in the engine bay. I dropped the exhaust so it's laying on the ground. Everything over the sides, wiring harness back there. The problem is my engine hoist is stuck over here. So I gotta figure out a way, probably pack it all up and bring it around the garage and bring it out here so I can lift this engine and place it. Continue the descent. What's braking? What is braking? Whoa. Whoa. Alright, so I took the nut off of this mount and it bounced off of the belts, and I think it's in behind the crank pulley now. I'm not too entirely sure. So I need to find that so I can lower this, put this nut on, then I'll put the mount over there, raise it, and then put that mount in. All right, so it's been a little bit since I recorded, but I was just plugging in the connectors. That's not too interesting. So the whole harness is plugged in right now, except for like the things for the air box or whatever. I still gotta do the throttle cables, and I can't remember if I showed you this, but the shifter bracket's broke. Gotta get a new one of those. I also have to do this coolant hose. I'm assuming it goes to right there. But besides that, everything else is plugged in. Just gotta put these radiator hoses on. And what I'm doing right now is putting the manifold on, which has the catalytic converter right over here. They're one piece. So I'm putting that on, and then I'll bolt up the exhaust, and then work on the axles. Kill it. It did. I know it did. What the heck? What in the world? This thing's running tomorrow. Man, it is definitely leaking now. What? It's leaking everything. This is not good. What is that? If you look real closely, you can see the oil pan is leaking from everywhere. You just gotta look real close and you might be able to see the leak. So I have to pull the exhaust off again, drop the oil pan. We got a new gasket for it right over there. At least rear main seal area looks dry. Alright, so here's inside the bottom end, and it does look pretty clean. So this might be a decently low mileage engine. Brand new flywheel, whole brand new clutch. Now I just gotta clean the mating surface, put the new gasket on. Here's the old gasket. It's just a, Jesus. Here's the old gasket. It's just a cheap one, and when you tighten it together, it like squished out and was not good. All right, now the oil pan should hopefully not be leaking. You can see the blue Velcro gasket up in there. So I'm gonna wait an hour for the RTV to dry a little bit, and then I'll put oil in it. This axle seal over here is probably leaking. Looks like it's leaking. So I'll probably order one of those. That's not too important right now because it's just a very slight leak. The next biggest leak is the power steering, where it keeps on leaking down this subframe right here, and it's leaking a good bit. So every one of these Honda power steering pumps, they end up leaking right here. I ordered a new hose. I ordered a new pump because this one squeaks real bad, but I'm gonna put the hose on first and see if it's just that. I also ordered the O-rings for this thing because they normally leak as well. So that way there'll be no more power steering leaks, and those are the major leaks. How's it looking down here? Don't mind all that. God, I spilled everything. But the power steering pump is a lot quieter, and all I did was replace the hose. So I don't think I'm gonna have to do the pump. That's about $80 saved. All right, today we gotta get rid of these brakes. They are not cleaning up, and the pad life is pretty low. It's not too bad, but yeah, some new front brakes will really help this thing stop. I just hope these screws come out. Might have to chisel them out like I always do. This one came right out. Let's see what this one will do. Oh, got it. That's one-handed. That is great. Here's pad number 1. Applying no pressure to it. Always grease your sliders. This side is way worse. it is. There's my pad. I don't know where it went to. Jeez. So I went to replace the donut gasket on the rear muffler, but the problem is the flange. So I gotta get a new rear muffler, or maybe cut and weld a flange on here. Yeah, so I'm gonna run it with no exhaust for now. So I've torn down the original short block to see what the issue was. And all the main bearings look okay. The uppers are a little more rough, as you can see. Let's see if I can feel it. With the fingernail test, they don't feel too bad. So none of them were spun or anything. So main bearings all good. Thrust bearings, thrust washers, whatever you call them. This one looks fine, but this one has some metal dug out of it, as you can see. I don't know how common or normal that is, but it's definitely a decent bit. You can feel it with your nail. Now the rod bearings is where it gets funny. So here's rod number 1, and that thing definitely looks rough. This is the bottom, and here is the top. Got some chew marks, definitely no good. Number 2 is looking rough as well. And here's the top, same shoe marks. Number 3 looks okay, so I'll skip that. And number 4, looking rough, really dug in. And the top of number 4. So that's where the issue was. So the whole reason why the engine was originally swapped out was because my friend told me, he said he had to put oil in the car and it was misfiring badly. His brother was the one driving it, so he ran it low on oil and smoked some rod bearings, it seems. Now I got a big oily mess. I'm gonna post the block for sale for somebody who maybe wants to rebuild. Cheap, everything cheap. I just want all this gone. Muffler is now replaced with the Rock Auto one. Fit terribly. I think they bent to the hangers and shipping, but I'm gonna start it now and see how it sounds. All right, should be quiet. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Alright, that is much better. Now I can drive it without all the neighbors thinking I'm a ricer.
Come on, you do a little wheelie. It's spewing, it's spewing.
That's fine. Here's the headlights before, very foggy. They're a little wet, but they're real hazy. And here is after. Cleaned up pretty well. I believe I'm fixing the very last thing on the car, which is this blend actuator for the heat and air conditioning. It gets stuck, and right now it's stuck on the heat, and during the day you need AC. When I first got the car, it was stuck on AC, and I ended up hitting this with a wrench a few times, and then it moved to heat. And one time I pulled on it, and then it moved back to AC, and then I did it again and it moved back to heat, but now it's just frozen. So I'm gonna take this apart, confirm that something inside of it is bad, and put the new one in when it comes in. All right, now it is working every time. On the road with the Civic, gotta rev it out a little bit to get moving. Still only at 30 miles an hour, but it's comfortable while doing so. It drives pretty straight, and it's actually pretty smooth. Now, this car sat outside for like 2 years without axles in it holding the wheel bearing together, and there's no wheel bearing noise or anything out of the front, so hopefully they're good and hold up. But it does drive pretty well. And to have a Civic, an older Civic that doesn't leak oil and drives pretty well, you can't really complain. Stops. The brakes are great on this. I'm so surprised. I've had a bunch of older Civics, and normally the pedal travels a good bit and then engages. But this one, it's like right when you push the pedal, it's engaging the brakes. It's very nice. The car has no check engine lights. I was dealing with a code for the thermostat. It said the thermostat was stuck open or whatever. The coolant temperature was not heating up quick enough. And that ended up being the coolant temperature sensor. That would randomly give a false reading. So it would be rising like 120, 130, and then randomly it would throw in a 60 degrees in there, and it would just throw it off and trigger the code immediately. So I put a new coolant temperature sensor in, and that fixed that code. The other code I was dealing with was an O2 sensor code, and when I first got the car, it had an O2 sensor, an upstream one for a Civic HX or whatever it is. One of those other high mile per gallon models. That front O2 sensor will not play nice with this ECU, and I tried a cheaper one, but that doesn't play nice with the ECU, and I ended up getting, I think, a Bosch unit. So it's like $80, and that one has not triggered the code now. So with these year Civics, you need a proper O2 sensor, I guess. But that's really the only troubleshooting I had to do on the car, besides the oil leaks. Putting this all back together, I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it was, because you get some parts in the box, so you don't really know what you're getting, in a sense. But I only had to go out and buy a few things, but at least to get it running and driving, everything was already there. Do one little acceleration for you guys. 5,000 RPMs, 6,000 RPMs, not even at 60, now just past 60. This car is not fast at all, very slow car, but that's fine, it's just a beater daily. So I think that's it on the Civic. I fixed everything there was to fix. The last thing, this door latch sticks way out. It still works, it's just sticking out. So I'll probably take the door panel off and figure that out at a later date, but it's still working, so leave it for now. Sitting in the car, ice cold AC, heat works perfectly, everything just works, doesn't overheat, no more oil leaks, it's just good to go. My plan with this car is to sell my Fiesta over there and yeah, daily drive this one, or intermittently daily drive this with my Evo 10. But yeah, I really enjoy this car actually. I normally hate these Civics. I call them like the worst year Civics, besides the ones pre-1988. But yeah, these have a lot of overheating issues and at least head gasket issues. Like every single one's had like a head gasket replaced, it seems. But this one with the black interior manual, it actually grew on me a lot, and I kind of enjoyed driving it, so I'll keep it for a little bit. Oh, that's both. They're both